Welcome back to another episode of Careers with Nelly, the podcast where we have conversations around careers, job search strategies. We have workplace conversations from time to time that shift how we do things in the workplace. And also, through my content, I guide you people and help you to build rewarding and fulfilling careers, because a career is a lifetime thing. So it's really, really important that you get to do something that you enjoy. So if you're here for the first time, my name is Nelly. I am a career coach, a job interview coach, and I'm also a HR professional working in talent management. So today's conversation is one that has been inspired with one of the interactions that I had recently with a friend of mine, and not with just one person, but with so many people. Lately, for some reasons, I have encountered so many people who feel overwhelmed with what they're going through in their respective workplaces. People who are at the verge of leaving work, resigning, quitting, getting overwhelmed with a lot of pressure. So I said today, I want to talk to you guys on how you can stay sane in a high pressure work environment, because sometimes the business is not going to change to accommodate you, but you have to change yourself so that you fit and ensure that you're comfortable in whatever work that you're doing. So my topic of the day is how you can stay sane in a high pressure environment. Go through the work without breaking a single piece of you. So if this is a conversation that you want to watch, then I'm sure you're going to stay with me till the end of this video. So the first thing that you need to do is begin by understanding what is the cause of the pressure. You begin by understanding the root cause. If you're working in a place where pressure is too much, if in your current job you're feeling the pressure is too much, there are so many things, so many factors that could lead to high pressure in a work environment. I know when I talk of pressure, the first thing that quickly comes to our mind is workload. But can I surprise you? Sometimes it's not about the workload. Sometimes it's about the system. It's about the processes. And it could also be about you in terms of how do you do your work. So begin by analyzing what exactly causes this pressure. And based on the issues or the factors that I've mentioned, you realize that there's some that you have control over, and there's some that, like system and processes, you may not have control over. So a process that takes long before completion of one task, or policy issues that delays decision making, those are things that you may not have control over. But when it comes to the things that you have control over, guys, like time management, skills that you have to do the job. So you need to be very certain that the things that causes you pressure at work are things that you have no control over. So if it's about time management, then begin by getting to work early enough, planning your day early. If it's about disorganization, begin by having a work schedule. I don't want to call it a to-do list. Begin by having a schedule where you have the tasks that you need to complete for the day, for the week, and you have the timeline. Someone once challenged me that if you have a task to complete, if you have only 30 minutes to complete a task, you will complete it in 30 minutes. But the same task, if you have a whole week to complete it, you can still complete it in that whole week. So sometimes it depends on how much time do you have to complete a task. You get what I'm saying? So there are some tasks that you can complete in just 5 minutes, but because you feel you have too much time, or because you've not planned yourself well, you take a whole day or a whole 2 hours or a whole 1 hour doing them. So it all trickles down to your organization skill, your planning skill, your speed of execution. So you need to understand the root cause. What is causing your current pressure? If it's something you can work on, like the ones that I've said, please work on them. If it is a system, a process, a policy issue, try addressing it with your seniors, with your management, with your line manager, Like if you're working in a bank, for example, or if you're working in a financial institution, maybe you're having a process like maybe an account opening process that takes 1 hour before you just open one account. Of course, that is going to derail you throughout the day. That is going to delay you in terms of completing other tasks. So you need to understand that and address it with your management or with your leadership team. So before you make a decision to run out of that job, please be genuine with yourself and just get to understand what exactly causes that pressure. Is it something within your control? Solve it. Is it something that you have to discuss with your management? Please have a conversation around it. Another factor that you need to consider when you're working in a place that there's high pressure is to stay calm and breathe. One of the most undoing that we have is panicking. It's so easy to panic. Work is piling this side, pressure, deliverables are here. So stay calm. When you calm, you can make sound decisions. When you panic, you get everyone else around you overwhelmed, and you also get overwhelmed. Panicking, it makes you stressed, anxiety. So you need to stay calm. No matter what type of pressure it is, please stay calm. When you stay calm, you're able to collect yourself. You're able to reason and make sound decisions, sound judgment on things. You're able to maintain our relationships because you're not going to get frustrated and trickle it or pass it over to your colleagues. So staying calm, breathing is quite important. It also ensures that you do not make errors. It also ensures that you stay in good terms with your colleagues, because sometimes pressure, anxiety, being in that state where you're constantly anxious, worrying, it can affect your judgment and your relationship with your colleagues. So stay calm, breathe. Another thing that you want to do to survive in a high pressure environment, guys, is time management. I know I've talked about it a bit in the previous point, in point number 1, but time management is a key thing. And most of the pressures at work that I see originates from time that is lost on doing things that are necessary. How many times do you scroll through your phone throughout the day? Check your TikTok, check your LinkedIn, check your WhatsApp, check your Instagram. How long do you spend in that? A typical person spends more than 4 hours on social media. The 2 minutes, the 1 minute breaks that you take before you get onto your TikTok or your Instagram or your WhatsApp or whatever it is. So time management is key. If you can, like I always ask people that, it's a candid conversation. Can you account for your 8 hours at work? Let's remove the 1 hour that maybe the employer has given you for lunch. Can you account for the 7 hours that are left? Getting to work at 8 or at 9, dragging the first 30 minutes, the first 1 hour. Every time that you lose impacts at the end of the day on the available time that you have to deliver on your job. So time management, it begins from at what time do you get to work? How long do you spend to complete a task? How long do you spend to scroll on your phone? How long do you spend when you're on your breaks? I am a big champion of taking breaks. Please don't miss your lunchtime. Don't miss your tea breaks. But manage your time well. Manage your time well so you're not having to carry forward tasks that leads to obvious piling of tasks the following day or the following week, so that you're always having to carry over tasks. So time management, very, very key if you want to stay sane and manage pressure at work. Another thing that you want to do, that's my next point, guys, is prioritizing tasks. Now, let me give you a typical example of prioritizing. I know you have a whole list of to-do list from the week to the midweek to the end week to each day tasks. So prioritization is key. All these tasks that you have, I need you every single week, every single day you get to work, list them. I call them work schedule. I don't want to call them the to-do list, the task or work schedules. So prioritize in terms of the urgency, the impact they have on the business, the different stakeholders that you are managing. So if you have a task to complete for a customer and you have a task to complete that the CEO need, which one are you going to prioritize to come first? So what is the implication that that task that you have to complete has directly to the business? So you prioritize tasks in terms of those categories, the implication they have. You can also prioritize in terms of the time that a task takes to deliver. One task can take you 2 hours, while one is important, but it can just take you 30 minutes. Why don't you remove that in your list, the one that can take a shorter time? The different stakeholders that you're managing your colleagues, you're managing the internal customers, you're managing the external customers, you are managing the executive team. So it's really important to ensure that you manage and prioritize tasks based on these different categories and the implications that they have on your relationship with your stakeholders, that they have on the business, and of course the different time frames that you take to complete each and every task. The next point, guys, is taking care of yourself. I can't emphasize this enough. Please take care of yourself. Take your breaks, have a good night's sleep, take walks in between work, take enough water, stay hydrated, eat if you're not fasting. Ensure that you don't skip your meals. So that will help you to stay up active, have the right energy. And at the end of it all, I always tell people that you're the first person that comes in the picture, because you're the one who's going to deliver on the job. So if you're not well, if you get sick, if you constantly fall sick, then how do you ensure that you stay motivated to constantly do what you do? Because sometimes you get to the level that you don't have the right energy, you don't have the right vibration. And honestly, I promise you, if you don't take care of yourself well enough, then you cannot take care of that job that you're doing. So take care of yourself. Take your leave. I interact with people, or I encounter people that have, I don't know how many leave days. For the longest time, they're never going to leave. Come on, take your leave. Because today, if you fall down and die on that job, let us not lie to each other. The job will still continue, right? They'll still get someone. And unfortunately, even before you're buried. So please take care of yourself. Come first before anything else. Because if you're not there, even the people who depend on you, your family, the people that you come to work for, will, of course, something will change in their life. So please prioritize yourself, prioritize self-care, take care of yourself, take breaks, have your time, especially even over the weekends. Please have time for yourself. It's very, very important. The next point, guys, is to upskill. And why I say upskill is that sometimes we get pressure because we do not understand the job that we are doing. Let's face it, being a master at your craft is very, very important. Number one, if you understand the job that you do so well, of course, you'll take a lesser time to complete a task. And that will make you getting things done very quickly. So upskilling, understand the job that you do, the A to Z of that job, the tools that you need to use. If it's Excel, if it's PowerPoint, whatever it is, if it is AI that you need, be a master at instructing ChatGPT to do things for you. So master your craft. Guys, we have to keep upskilling. We have to keep learning. We have to keep going back to those courses, those tutorials, to watch how to do a process. Because if you understand it better, you can explain it quickly. If you understand it better, you're going to complete it quickly. So upskill. If it requires you taking an extra course, if it requires you taking extra hours learning every day, if it requires you learning from colleagues, from peers, please upskill. Learn continuously. Improve your skills. It's very, very important that you understand what you're doing. You always say that you have it at your fingertips. That will increase your speed. because sometimes also pressure is about speed. How long do you take to complete a task? So upskilling is not an option, because when you're constantly getting stuck, constantly having to over consult, constantly having to walk to your colleague's desk for consultation, it's really it can make it, that pressure can emanate from that inability just to do things on your own. So you gotta have to upskill. You gotta have to be a friend of learning, constantly learning to become a master at your craft. The next point, and very important, is to leverage on collaboration and teamwork. Of course, consulting your colleagues is not a bad thing, but of course, it's good to be in a position where you can do your job independently. So collaboration is very key. Work as a team. Have seen teamwork do great things, even in my work. So guys, you gotta have to collaborate with your team. You know, don't be a one-man an island. You know, nobody's an island. So if you're working in a team, guys, please don't be a joyrider. Be an active participant and an active contributor in that team. So communication is quite important. Communication is very, very important. Please don't be the person who is dying in silence. Talk about your frustrations so that the things can be addressed by the management or the leadership of your organization to handle, or rather to work on that pressure, is important. So as I come to the close of this video, it's important to note that the different nature of the different businesses that we work for necessitates different types of pressure. I don't think if there's a job environment where there is no pressure, really, unless it's an organization that does not exist to make money. But of course, even if it doesn't exist to make money, it has the donors or the people who it has to be accountable for. You know, the people who have invested their money that you have to report to at the end of the day. So there's always work that has to be done. So whenever I see people who are too quick to leave jobs, to resign from jobs because of work pressure, I know pressure. There's good pressure. There's pressure that that pushes you to grow, and these are the real conversations that we should be having, that pushes you to grow, that removes you out of your comfort zone. But if it is that type of pressure that wants to affect your mental health, then it's good to be concerned about it. But if it's something that you can handle, something that just removes you out of your comfort zone, either teaching you a new skill, you know, taking you to your next level of perseverance, or your next level of tolerance, preparing you for your next job. You know, when the higher you go, of course, the much a responsibility it will come with. So you also have to get to a level where you become very tolerant. I'm not, guys, listen to me carefully. I'm not saying that you die in a work that is making you run insane, but I'm also challenging our ability and our level of just being able to tolerate some things that we really need to tolerate, or to persevere. That level of tolerance, which I honestly see most professionals really lack. That's why we're always hopping from one job to the other. So get to understand, what is that pressure teaching you? What skill do you need to learn so that it makes you better for your next job or for your next level? So that is what I wanted to discuss with you guys for this video. I hope you have learned something. If you've come with me till this level of this video, please be sure to subscribe, share this content, and of course, I'll be happy to have you back and back and back on this channel. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know some of the topics that you want me to talk about in my next video, and I'll be sure to make videos around those topics. Thank you so much, guys, and see you again in the next video.